What's up, guys? Welcome to the You versus You podcast. I'm Bailey.
This is Lucas.
This is episode 1.
101. 102.
And today we just want to kind of summarize what the show's going to be about. You know, what's to come, what it is,
Give a little backgrounds about ourselves.
What it do, baby.
Who it is and what we do.
We're a couple of fun guys.
I'm a fun
I'm
guy.
a fun guy. Yo, tell me he doesn't do the laugh perfect. Do it again.
All right.
So a little bit about us, first of all. My name's Bailey. Right now, I'm in the real estate investing space. I've worked with a few other companies, now kind of starting on my own. Obviously a lot that goes into that. But actually just started my own, filed for my own LLC, Hermes Cash Offer. LLC number 1. Hermes Cash Offer, I think last month. So super new, but not new to the industry. I've been in sales in general for right out of high school. I'm 20, so like for 2 years. So that's my biggest strength personally.
You started off selling drugs in high school?
Whoa, you trying to send me away or what? That's right. We could do the podcast virtually while I'm in jail.
We got him.
My bad, playa. He hates when I move the mic, guys. But yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'll end it there. We'll probably have other episodes where we kind of dive into what individually where we came from. What about you, Luke? What you up to now?
Right now, I am also 20. I am a day trader in the stock market. I have been day trading for a few months now. I've made some money. I've lost a lot of money. I've had some big wins and have some very big losers. But yeah,
that's the game, baby.
That's the name of the game. Right now it's all about learning for me, because obviously I just said I've only been in it for a couple of months. So I'm fine with losing the money. If I make money, that's cool. But honestly, right now it's super cliche to say, but I'm really just trying to learn as much as I can so I could do this for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and not just do it at like a mediocre level, but be able to do it at a high level where I am having really, really big winners and really, really small losses.
And we know that we're not the only ones in that phase of their journey.
Yeah.
So the purpose why we're here is we wanted to create a community of other people, not only like-minded, but that want to go somewhere similar, that want to break out of whether in the lower class, middle class, or just living in a family with generations or friends with generations of a limited mindset, which is probably the number one thing that will stunt you from growing to who you want to become. So that's why we started this. We're not only going to be documenting our own journeys, sharing with you the things that we learn in both of our industries, but also in both of our journeys of personal development. And also, we plan on bringing on guests, going through the same thing, and starting communities of these people so we can share those ideas. Where are we going to have those communities, Luke?
We're going to have those communities anywhere a community can be made. We're eventually going to want to create Facebook groups, Discords. Obviously, we're going to have like Instagrams, and this will be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you could listen to a podcast. We just want to really build a community. And also, not even just build a community, but this is also something that we're going to want to look back on in 5 years or 10 years or however many years we can. I mean, it's on the internet. It's going to be up forever. So it's just really also going to be something that we could look back on and just see how far we've came.
And that anybody can look back on. That anybody, let's say 10 years that starts that starts on this journey, and if anybody asks us for advice, we can just refer back to this and refer back to all of our trials, tribulations, and those lessons. And, you know, God willing, it provides value to everybody that watches it. Mm-hmm. That's our why for this. That's our who. And that's what to expect. Anything to add?
No, you touched up on that.
Well, I guess everything's touched up on that, guys. I think we good.
I could also come and look back and see how crazy my hair was.
Yeah. See how crazy that beard game was growing in?
You fucking see it? Oh, wait, are we cussing or not cussing?
Well, on the first fucking episode.
We're in the building phases.
All right, thanks, guys. Catch you on the next episode.
That's going to be the end of the episode? It's only 5 minutes.
I know. I think last time when we were talking so long, I think it's because we were fucking talking about our past. You want to do that? Talk about our past?
Do you not want to?
Yeah,
I mean, we could just keep going from right now.
All right. Well,
behind the scenes, guys, because I'm not going to edit that out.
All right, don't play. We both know you don't know how to edit that out, Lucas.
I do. It's actually pretty easy.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
well,
I went to film school.
Let's just use these first 5 minutes as the first 5 minutes for the. I think that was way better for the other.
Yeah, it was.
All right, we'll just use that. Are you able to do that?
Yeah.
Like make a copy of the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so since we're gonna, I guess I'll give you guys a little bit more about my backstory. So the rest of this episode is gonna be a little bit more about the backstory between me and Lucas. This is actually take 2. The last time we filmed this, it was like an hour, huh? And I feel like I talked too much about my backstory though, so I'll kind of go through that.
Yeah, I felt like I was rambling too, and
I didn't feel like you were rambling.
The audio got corrupted anyways, or the video did. So,
well, I mean, when we were actually filming, I didn't feel like you were rambling last time. But I mean, I grew up in East LA, for most of my life. Just recently, actually I've moved to Whittier with my family to live, like 3-4 years ago. But other than that, I lived in East LA for all my life. I went to school in East Los Angeles until 4th, 5th grade. And then I came to Whittier for complicated reasons. And my parents kept me in school there because I went from being in that group of kids that didn't think that school was cool. I thought kicking it was cool. I thought messing around and doing things that cops didn't want you to do was cool.
That used to be cool, though.
Yeah, it was cool. Thanks, G. That was cool. That's what happens when you a real ass
boss
pimps. That's what happens when the shorties love you. Anyway, when I went to school in Whittier, I was brought to a group of people who, it was really just one teacher. And then from then on, that's how I met these friends that were a lot more innocent in the things that they enjoyed. And also, this teacher named Miss Gadget helped me realize not only my skills that I was really good at learning, but also she got me to enjoy the process of learning and to go from I don't understand this yet to I do understand this now, and it's actually fun to get better at this thing that I once didn't understand and that could provide value to my life. So that's something that I eventually became addicted to. That I was always for my whole career in school. Is that a thing? I had 3.0, 3.8, 4.0 GPA for almost all of school. And so my whole life I thought I was going to be a doctor. Because when you're in school and they tell you to aim high, they say, oh, be a doctor, be a lawyer. I don't know why lawyer never stuck with me. But, actually it did for a while because people said I was good at arguing.
Breaking the law?
Yeah. People said I was good at arguing. So like, you should be a lawyer. And I was like, okay. I'm not good at arguing, right, Lucas? I never argue with you.
Bailey never argues.
What? I argue.
No,
Prove it.
Where's your proof?
So I always aimed at being a doctor. And so and I was always a super competitive guy. I played basketball, sports in general, worked out my entire life. And it wasn't until towards the end of high school, actually we met in high school, and that's when we got married. I'm just kidding. It sounded like I was going to say that. We had a mutual friend in high school, and he introduced me to he had not his uncle, an older cousin in MLM. And so this cousin would kind of preach to him entrepreneurship or kind of open ideas. That's not the right word. An unlimited mindset. It's fixed mindset versus what? I did my senior project on this. Is it open or fixed versus? Bro, I did my senior project on this.
I dropped out of school, so I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, Lucas. Did you even do a senior project?
The fucking fake ass one. I'm pretty sure they just passed everybody.
Anyway, he introduced me to I guess the life of entrepreneurship. He gave me the book of the business of the 21st century, a book by Robert Kiyosaki. That was the book that got me into it. Ironically, it wasn't Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was the second book I read. And so I was always into school, being competitive with my grades and sports and blah blah blah, everything, almost everything, pretty much everything that I did, even like video games. I would be mad if I lost.
Same.
And I never wanted to read the book because my friend would always, the way that he would preach his book to me was, bro, you don't need to go to school. Like, you could become rich by just like being in this company and chilling. So that's what a lot of MLMs teach, and we'll go over that in another episode. Not to bag on MLMs, but he was being taught ideas that weren't 100%. He kind of had like the shell of it. Like, in business, you can become wealthy through a lot of work. He believed in business, you then become wealthy. So I was like, no, that's not the way it works. I have to do this, blah, blah. So I was very close-minded to the idea that I needed school, and because that's all I was taught. Long story short, I don't know how, but he convinced me to read this book, and that was the fastest book I've ever read in my life, The Business of the 21st Century. And it's basically Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's a rundown of how to become wealthy through real estate, and also through MLMs, how to make money. If you read any Robert Kiyosaki book, you kind of get the gist of it, that the goal is to create financial freedom, to have the freedom to not only live the life that you want to live, but provide that for your loved ones, and also give back and have the freedom to do that, and not be limited with your time in a 9-to-5 job, but also not have somebody else kind of dictate your pay, right? Dictate your value. So after I read that book, I went through a wormhole of other self-development / business books. I started going home telling my parents I don't need to work. I mean, I don't need to go to college. I don't need to work. I don't need to go to college. And they would say, oh, well, if you're going to do that, you're going to move out. So they weren't very fond of the idea.
And now he's homeless because they kicked him out.
Now I live in Lucas's
basement
under his bed.
Chained.
Long story short, they never did. I have awesome parents, and I was lucky. And they also saw how hard I worked, so they were able to see the vision. It's the vision, baby.
They said, yo, G, let's build.
They said, yo, we only going up, player.
Look at that. You see that right there? It's only going up, bro.
I was like, look, Dad, it's only going up. Look, check it out.
Down
check
a little bit, but that's fake.
I was like, nah,
that's
don't
fake.
look at that part. Don't look at that part. So after high school, I went to college because my parents wanted me to. And right away, I took all the advice of what these people preach online, and I found a mentor. My brother had a small marketing agency, mostly for websites at the time. And I started in sales for his company. And I did that because through my, wormhole of reading, wormhole of YouTube, all this stuff, following all these successful people, they all preach about that sales is like the number one most important thing you need to have as a skill, so you could impact and inspire the people who are going to buy your product and make you successful, make the company successful, allow you to provide value back, allow other people to see your vision, allow you to help them. And that could bleed into marketing, bleed into coaching, bleed into managing, etc. So I did that, and I started cold calling for my brother, just random businesses so he could build them a website. And I was like, wow, this is actually hard. Cold call, like I would come home from college, I had classes in the morning, and I would cold call like until the night, where at that time I do my homework, and I would get crapped on all day. And I was like, oh, this is hard. So let me find a mentor for this. So that's when I went online and I looked up other people in the digital marketing space who were great at sales. I found this one guy who was only a few years older than me at the time. So I was 18. He was like 20. And he was already making 6-7 figures for owning his own digital marketing agency. And at that time, he was actually branded as the king of sales in digital marketing. I think he branded himself as that, but he is probably one of the most disciplined people I have ever personally met. He's a beast. Long story short, I kept DMing him. I said, hey, I'll sell for you for free. Just teach me how to sell. He said, I like your hustle. Let's do it. We scheduled a call, and he canceled on me, and we went back and forth doing that for like maybe weeks. And we would schedule calls when I in the middle of my classes, and I would leave my classes to go sit outside, or even in the bathroom this one time, because there was like security walking outside, just so I could have a phone call with this guy, and he was blowing me off for a bit, but I kept following up. And finally, we got on the phone. He said, "Let's do it." And for a whole entire year, I granted, it was a pretty hard, probably as hard as these sales jobs get. He provided me with, well, in the beginning, he provided me with a small list of leads to call. No prior contact. Actually, I'm lying. There was cold contact before. He would send them an email, and then I would cold call them about that email, which they never saw. And they never checked their email. Nobody really checks their email, so it was pretty much cold. And long story short, so after that 1 month of those leads, I went an entire year with zero sales, generating my own cold leads, handling these meetings, and I'd say the value I got from that entire year was that I think for the first few months, and then after that it was I didn't really get much training, but for the first few months, I went through some pretty heavy and valuable training with my mentor, and he I think the biggest thing that he did for me was that he exposed me to how to truly sell and just the ideas of that. Before that, I would follow people like Grant Cardone, and I believe that was the way to sell anything. And a lot of people that sell high ticket items or like real estate or high ticket digital marketing services, anything high ticket, you understand, and I see this all over, that Grant Cardone kind of takes a not very much low ticket, but he takes a very salesy, high pressure approach. And when you are exposed to the other side of that, you get the gist that people don't buy because you're a high pressure salesman. They buy despite you being a high pressure salesman, because not everybody has the same buying process. Some people buy slow, some people buy fast, some people need this kind of personality, some people need that kind of personality. Not everybody wants to get on the phone and have someone be like, "Hey man, what you doing? Oh, you're not interested? Oh, of course you're not interested. You don't even know what I'm selling you yet. Here, stay on the phone with me, blah, blah." I know if I got that phone call, I would be like, "Yeah, you know what? Come through, come here." And I'd be waiting on the other side of my door with a baseball bat. um, and so, I bought one of his cheap courses, and I thought that was the way to go. And so this guy exposed me to high ticket sales, which comes from I believe it's called solution based selling. If you read the book Spin Selling, that's kind of where all of these ideas come from. It's solution based selling. It's approaching a sales conversation from the point where you are diagnosing the problem first and then providing the solution as if you are a trusted consultant, or to put this in a way that everybody can understand, as if you are a doctor and a patient is approaching you looking for a solution to their problem. And as a doctor, they don't just prescribe you something like that, or they don't sit you down and be like, "Hey, have you tried this? Blah, blah, blah. Do you want to try this?" Like, "It's only $30, man. Come on, it helps everybody. Come on, you got to try it." Instead of doing that, they sit you down and they ask you a bunch of questions. And after you feel like they understand what the heck is wrong with you, then when they are provided an answer, they are more than happy to take that answer, because they're like, "Hey, this guy understands me. This guy knows exactly what I'm going through. He knows how to help me. I trust him. I'm going to take that solution." So that was my lesson for the entire year. And throughout that entire year, I was also half the day going to school. I think if I had my days free and I wasn't going through school at that time, and I was taking a ton of classes, like I was taking extra classes that year. I think if I had the whole year to just do that, I think I definitely would have been more successful in actually getting sales. But I actually didn't stop because I wasn't successful in that spot. I stopped because this guy over here kind of exposed me to the real estate investing realm. And also I just needed to change the scenery. I kind of built that identity of being a failure in that position. I mean, to go through an entire year and doing the same thing, and having my productivity go like this, because when you do that and you lose confidence in yourself. I was going through that phase. I wasn't being as productive. Again, it was a you versus you battle, and I started failing that battle towards the end, and I ended up leaving that position. I promised him that I was gonna pay him back in another way, which I do still plan on doing. It was an amazing experience, and I definitely am a completely different person because of that. After I stopped working for him, I actually left school, and I said I was gonna do this full time. Um, and my parents didn't, and I ended up staying home. And from then on, after Lucas kind of got me into real estate investing, I said, hey, this is something that is also very sales and marketing heavy. I think I'd be pretty good at this. And so the first thing I did, wrapping up my story here, kind of coming closer to the present, the first thing that I did was that I did the same process. I found someone that was successful in this space, actually in North Carolina, and we're in California. So I was doing lead generation for him virtually, and right away I was his number one cold caller slash salesperson. Because eventually he's like, hey, you're good. Let's move you on to commercial deals. Hey, you're good. Let's move you on to actual sales process, acquisitions, diagnosing, and providing solutions calls. And so not a lot of people in real estate kind of take sales that serious. So if you're able to be very good at that part of your craft and kind of dial in on what skills you're good at, you could definitely do some damage from what I saw, especially in that market over there at that time. And so right away, I was a killer on his team. He's a successful investor over there. He's had his team for a while, and right away I went from believing that I was terrible because I wasn't getting any results to right away becoming the number one person in a successful real estate investing company. And I think that's what opened my eyes to it was all in my head the entire time. It wasn't my skills. It wasn't any of that. It was just the identity that I created for myself when I continued that process of, bringing myself down, telling myself ideas that weren't true, that weren't empowering. So when I started feeding myself with these more empowering ideas, I really, really opened myself up to be in control of the skills I had. I did that for a while, and then I joined another company that was a little closer to home, another successful 7+ figure real estate investing company in LA. And I think I did that right before COVID-19, actually. So around March 2020, I joined the company in LA, and I'm still with them. I work with them part-time in the mornings, and again, last month, I just started my own LLC. Thanks, Lucas. Thanks, guys.
We have a live studio audience.
Yeah. My bad, player. And so I do that at the second half of my day. And at night, I have a super small part-time, kind of to just keep the parents happy. But, and I guess you're kind of all caught up with me. That's my story. That's how you. Sorry, G. I know that was kind of long, player. Sorry, that's what happens when you're a real ass G pimp. My bad, G. That's just what happens when you're a real ass pimp.
You're a real ass boss. The shorties just love you.
The shorties love me. All right, that's me. That's how I got to where I'm at right now. I wanted to share that. I think if anything can be taken from that story, it's how, number one, throughout that entire year, that could have been 100% different if I had the right ideas. If I had a podcast like this or a community of people going through the same thing, I would have been exposed to the ideas quicker that most of this game is in your head. Most of this really is you versus you. It really is. And if I didn't have those limited beliefs of me bringing myself down, or if I did have that confidence, that year would have turned out completely different. And however, a saying that I love, amor fati, is to be in love with your fate. If I didn't make that switch, I wouldn't have been involved in the real estate industry, or I wouldn't have had that epiphany of sometimes when, if you're like, oh, I think I can't do this. Take a step back right away and ask yourself, why do you think that? And what I do is I always give myself a super quick few second count and just do it. Even if you're scared, just do it. One of the most basic, amazing skills you can have is to do something anyway in the face of fear, and just try your best. And at the end, you'll realize, oh shit, I'm a motherfucking boss, G. I think that was the biggest lesson I learned through then to now. And that's what gave me the confidence today to go out there and build my own investing company from scratch, going from zero and having the dreams and the inspiration to go from 0 to 100. I'm talking, Trump Tower, Bailey Tower type of 100, Sam Zell type of 100, being A1, number one, Forbes list, Forbes cover, real estate investor, top 100,
top 5% OnlyFans earners,
102,
103.
There you go. 104. All right, I think it's your turn, Big Luke. Just kidding, guys. He's shorter than me.
Okay. Well, my story starts off in a small little quaint town called Los Angeles, California. No, I grew up right outside of LA. How long do you think it would take to drive to here? Like 15 minutes, 20?
You grew up in LA?
No, I grew up right outside LA. I grew up here.
Oh.
Well, but it
takes around 20 minutes to get to my spot in East LA. So.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because I know how to get there fast.
No,
or maybe it just feels that fast because I've been commuting.
I could have sworn I was closer.
I'll just shut the hell up. Did you hear that?
Commuting?
I've been commuting. Yeah. I've been commuting from there and back for such a long time, but I think it's around 20. Well, with traffic, probably 30.
I don't know. I always thought it was quicker than that. You might be taking the long way. So yeah, I grew up in a city called Pico Rivera. I grew up with
small city.
Very small city. A lot of barren land here. I grew up with a single mother, and I grew up living with my sister and my grandparents, who were Mexican immigrants. My grandfather was.
Hey, mine too.
And so my story kind of starts off similar to Bailey's, in terms of when we were younger. He said he was hanging out with the wrong people, getting into a bunch of bad shit, and so was I. Was hanging around the wrong crowd. Not really. I was good in school, I would say, up until about the 3rd grade, and then I said, fuck this shit, and my grades started to drop. And when I say drop, I mean there was points in my school career where I had a 0.5 GPA, 0.4 GPA, like literally F's in everything.
Drop. Like the panties on a girl desperate to make money on OnlyFans type drop.
That's gonna get us canceled. So I've never had an interest in school, but I don't
knock the hustle.
I've always had an interest in starting and building businesses before I even really knew what that was. The first business, in air quotes, that I started was like a t-shirt company when I was, how old are you in 3rd grade? Like 9, 10?
I was a real ass G. Pay them out. No.
Yeah, I started a couple of t-shirt companies because I just was trying to find a cool design and a cool name. And I actually got some people to buy stuff. I just could never supply them with the shirt because obviously any mom with not a lot of money is going to tell their kids, I'm not going to give you money to buy a bunch of t-shirts to sell to your 3rd grade friends. So that was my first, again, air quotes, business that I started. And then that kind of progressed onto, I really got into skateboarding with one of my friends. And we started our own skateboard company called COP. K-O-P.
Oh, cops love skateboarders.
Cops love skateboarders. We don't break into places and skate and tag or nothing like that. So we started that probably like 4th or 5th grade. And it was really nothing. It was more just spray painting the letters COP on blank boards and trying to see if people would want to skate them, which obviously no one did because it was spray paint on skateboards that were used already. But then I kept on skating, so obviously anybody who grew up skating probably got into a good amount of trouble, jumping fences, going into schools, and cops coming and kicking you out. Never really like got arrested for anything.
Wow, you mean they were trying to do their job? Assholes.
Why?
Wow.
Those fools are tripping, huh?
Tripping.
And then as I transitioned to middle school, I kind of stopped skating as much. That's when I really started playing basketball like almost every single day. That's when I grew and stopped growing. I've been the same height since 8th grade, so that's awesome. So yeah, then in my middle school years, my entire life was committed to basketball, but I also always knew that basketball wasn't going to be something that I was going to do with my life because I'm not a freak 6'8" athlete.
Oh, that's why?
Yeah, that's why.
You know what I'm thinking, huh?
What?
All right, I'll shut the hell up.
What?
Say it. Keep going, bro.
So since I knew basketball wasn't what I was going to be doing with my life, I was always trying to find something else to do. And one of the first things that I ever wanted to do, which
dealing
was
drugs.
Well, no, I've been dealing drugs since I was like 3.
I said dealing, not doing drugs.
I said dealing also.
Oh.
People think we're serious. But so, like, even before middle school, honestly, YouTube was always something that I was really into. I think I've uploaded my first ever YouTube video in like 2008 or 9 about something about skateboarding. I forgot what exactly it was. But in middle school, that's when I finally was able to get my first console as a hand-me-down from my cousin Michael. And that's when Black Ops 2 came out also. And me and my friend grinded that every single day. Grades got even worse. But I was a fucking beast at that game. I thought I was going to go pro. I thought I was about to pop off. I was uploading YouTube videos all crappy. I had, like, my phone just placed on top of a fan recording my TV screen of, like, Black Ops 2 had theater mode.
I did that, too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure every kid has done that.
But mine are, like I made that account, and I never remembered the password.
Neither do I.
And I'm sure you remember in high school when they would roast me about my old YouTube account.
Yeah.
In that account, one of them is I tried to do a glitch in Black Ops 2. I think it was that's the one with Transit, right? Or is that 3?
Transit.
Yeah, there's like a glitch.
Fucking love zombies.
Yeah, there's like a glitch, and then I try to do it while I'm recording to teach people on YouTube, and it doesn't work. They like patched it that day, and I was like, what? Like I did it the night before. I was like, no, and then there's like a dickload of zombies like right behind me, and I get wrecked on YouTube. But go on, I get roasted for that. I get roasted for that to this day.
Yeah, so I would just upload my Black Ops 2 commentary with my friend, and obviously that didn't really go anywhere. So that kind of transitioned into YouTube was a big part of my life when I was younger. Because then that transitioned to making 2K videos. And I remember I uploaded a video called like 2K 15 or 16 best jump shots for Park or something. And some kid commented, these jump shots suck ass. So I deleted the video.
Wow, you see what I mean, guys?
Fucking
you can't
shitting
let
on
other
my
people
dreams.
Trash on your dreams, bro.
But as I said, YouTube was such a big part of my life. So fuck this, I quit. So yeah, I think that was 2K16, so we were already sophomore year. But yeah, so basically middle school wasn't really anything crazy. I just was playing basketball and going to sleep, and that's it. So as I transitioned into high school, I actually ended up going to a high school away from all of my friends, and I'm very socially awkward, so I had very hard times trying to make friends.
Well, other than when we were, I was about to say, fuck you.
He was looking off like,
yeah, I was like,
I don't really think that's what happened.
I don't know about having no friends. I don't know nothing about that.
I don't know about no social anxiety.
Yeah, the first day we actually had high school, we were like, they put the freshmen into groups, and we had summer ball together, so we already knew each other, and so you had a friend the first fucking day of high school, bitch. It was me.
Yeah, and then I remember we bonded because I asked him, I was like, hey, yo, in like 5 or 6 years, you trying to make a podcast?
Shut up. Yeah, you trying to do a podcast 5 or 6 years? Yeah, I'm down. I'm down, G. All right, let's do it.
So as I transitioned into high school, I don't know what happened, but even though I was still like super outgoing and could talk to anybody, it wasn't quite to the scale as I was in 8th grade. So that kind of was weird to me because I didn't know what was going on. And then sophomore year, it got even worse because, rest in peace to my grandma, that's when she started getting really sick. And then that's when I started seeing signs of depression and anxiety. I lost my train of thought. Sorry for the depression stuff.
That's funny you bring that up. My grandmother, so when I was in East LA, I lived with my grandmother most of my time over there.
Yeah.
My family lived with my grandmother.
Yeah, same as mine.
Yeah, I was
Like
about
my
to say, like, you
grandmother
too?
was like my second mom. She
Yeah,
was
me
the dad
too.
I never had.
She went out in my, I think it was my sophomore year too. She got really sick. She got cancer, and I think she passed away
That was my junior
my
year.
sophomore or junior year. She passed away.
Going into our we graduated at 18, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she graduated. Mine passed away this summer going into
Damn, she
junior year.
graduated with
She
you?
graduated
I'm
with me,
just kidding.
G.
Um, yeah, that's funny you say that. Same thing with my grandma. We
Yeah,
had the
but
same
then
grandma.
my sophomore year, that's my anxiety and like depression started getting really bad to the point where I wouldn't talk to anybody outside of my friend group, and that was something that was super foreign to me. So I didn't know like I was too hard-headed to admit that I was going through depression, anxiety, but basically anyone that was fucking close to me knew. Like my teachers knew, my mom knew, my sister knew, everybody knew. Um, and it wasn't until when did Ernie give you that book?
He did it during the summer because I had
But
summer
going into junior
basketball.
year or
He
going
had
into
summer
sophomore year?
football. Maybe going into junior year.
Yeah, I think
'Cause
it
I remember
was
it was
too.
towards the end of high school.
Because I also remember. No, I think it was going into senior year.
Oh, no way, bro.
You sure?
Yeah.
Oh
no
yeah,
way
it
I
was
didn't
definitely going
make
into
that
junior
switch
because
in.
I wasn't
Yeah.
at Pioneer so senior year. Um, yeah, because my grandma passed away sophomore going into junior year, and then throughout that entire summer, and I would even say maybe the first half of that school year, my depression and anxiety was really bad. But then that's when I started talking to him a little bit more because even though we had been friends, I didn't hang
It
out
was
with.
through basketball.
Yeah, I was mostly just through basketball at that point. And then he started talking to me about summer school again because that's when that was that summer school where his friend gave him that book. He wasn't my friend yet. So that's how we all kind of started bonding. And then junior year, towards the end, I really started talking to him more because I thought I was going to be at Pioneer senior year, but I wasn't. And he told me more about the books that he was reading, and he gave me the Rich Dad Poor Dad book. And reading that book spiraled me into reading a bunch of other books that were more self-development. So that helped out with my anxiety and my depression and kind of helped me getting out of that. And I'm not depressed anymore. I don't think I am. Do you think I'm depressed?
I don't know. Your eyes look kind of tired.
Yeah, but that's just my life. My whole family has super dark circles. But I still do struggle with anxiety sometimes. And I say this because around that time in high school, that's when I was doing YouTube. I was trying to be a real estate agent, or I was looking into being a real estate agent since I wasn't old enough yet. Because I've always had this feeling that...
Someone's following you?
No.
Sorry.
I've always had this feeling that...
Guess it's just me.
that I was I was put on this earth to do something big, but I obviously don't know what it is, or I didn't know what it is. I still don't know what it is, and I'm not going to find out until I actually do something. But I say that because I always felt like I was meant to do something big on this earth, and not knowing what it was kind of spiked my anxiety. So that's when I really started to develop like the shiny object syndrome that Bailey knows me so well for. And this is probably the first time you've ever heard about this. Like, when I have the shiny object syndrome, but not like the reason why.
Well, since I already cut you off.
Again.
I didn't bring that up, but I've always had that too.
Yeah.
And I think I've read somewhere that it's, well, I'm sure you've heard this too. Usually it's almost a requirement, and it's a very fine line for people that are entrepreneurs or even just like highly, not productive, but high functioning individuals.
Yeah.
High performers.
High performance
People. You have to have a base of massive confidence in yourself. And so I always grew up with that too. That's why I did so well in school, because I was like, well, I had this talent for learning, and then I turned it into a skill. And I knew where I came from because I lived in East LA and I went to school in Whittier. And my friends, I would go over to my friend's Julian's. I would go over to his 2-story house.
Shout out to Julian.
Shout out to Julian for letting me borrow the mic. I would go to his 2-story house, and I'd go home to sharing my room with my family, and then the other room was another family. And but I was always and I think the same thing with your family, from knowing your family. I was always met with nothing but like love, and there was no like guilt. There was
a Mexican thing, I think.
Yeah, there was no negativity. Like just
because that's the same way. Like when I've been around your family, they're always like super nice to me.
Straight up gratitude in the house, and real gratitude, and like every holiday, every Christmas, whatever, they would just do their best. And even though sometimes I wouldn't get what I wanted, most of the time I did, because they tried their best. But even the times that I didn't get like exactly what I wanted, I was super grateful, and just because I was filled with a family with love. And I think that's kind of what also inspired me to always have that drive. So I have to, or I don't know, maybe it's a drive. Do you feel like it's more of like a drive, or do you feel like that just gave us or gave you your confidence to believe that I am meant for this, or I am going to do this?
Having like that family like behind me, or what?
Yeah, like do you think it's more of like a drive where like you kind of have like that drive where I know I'm going to do this, or do you think that
I
it's
feel like
more
it's
like
kind
a
of like
confidence?
a confidence, like an intuition
Yeah.
type thing. But it's crazy that you brought that up, like the whole family part, and you're saying how like you came from like a big family where you're like all like you're in one room and then like another family's in the other room, right?
Yeah, it was
Was
me,
it like was
me,
that your
my
family or no?
dad, my brother. It was me, my dad, my brother, in like one small part of the house. Me and my brother had bunk beds. My parents shared a bed, and then in the front was like my grandma, and then
Yeah.
her brother.
Yeah, I just brought that up again because at some point here too, there was like 9 or 10 people living in this house. So like in this room that we're in, it was me and my sister on bunk beds and my mom on a bed down here. And then in the room next to us, it was my great grandma and my cousin or my aunt from Mexico, and my aunt's kid and her kid, my aunt's kid and my aunt's grandkids in the living room, and then
Damn fool!
obviously
And then
my
you keep your
grandparents.
dog in the vent or what?
We never had a dog.
I'm just kidding.
And then my grandparents obviously in their room. So, and even with you're talking about having such a loving family, and even though they were from Mexico and they weren't very fluent in English, and I can't speak Spanish yet, we were always still able to like just
Para
bond and
yet.
be around each other, and like just like you could tell like it was all love.
Yeah, same thing with my family. Like my grandfather, he had very broken English.
Yeah.
When I was born, um, my mom was holding me, and then he looked at my mom, and his English was so broken. He looked at her. I think he meant to say like, "Are you happy?" But he looked at my mom. He was like, "Do you like it?" And then she looked at him like crazy. She was like, "Yes, I like it. It's my son."
She's like, "Nah, this food's ugly."
Yeah, she's like, "Nah, can you give me another one?"
The fucking
Yeah, I
reminds
think he
me-
meant to be like, "Are you happy? Like,
Do you like
yeah,
it?
he was like, "You like it?"
That reminds me when I was born, and my mom she was gonna name me Cameron at first, but the only reason why she didn't is because my grandfather's mom, when she told her the name, she was like, "Camaron," like the shrimps. So she was like, "I'm not naming him that." Anyways,
Caballo?
what?
That's a horse. We
Caballo.
bilingual over here.
But so we were talking about my story. Where was I at? My anxiety leading into my.
No, you said that your family was always super helpful, and then you brought up that you always knew that you were meant for something bigger.
Yeah.
I just thought that was crazy because I didn't bring that up, but that's something that I always thought
Yeah.
I had. Because I think naturally I have like a big ego where sometimes it actually is hindering, and that's something that I've worked on. But I mean that's common for people that try to attempt something that most people don't achieve. So I just thought I never heard you say that before
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, so I was saying how I always felt like I was meant to do something great, but I also have anxiety, so it gives me like my anxiety is to the point where like if I don't see results quick, then that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Like that's
Yeah, I think that's
like,
natural,
crazy.
dude. Like I get that too. Like, dude, I just after last month, I was like going crazy because I was running out of funds for marketing, and I was like going crazy, and I was like, dude, you just started marketing for your own business like less than a
Chill.
month ago. Seriously, I was like, bro, relax. I was like, oh crap, maybe I should get another job, blah blah blah. I was like, bro, relax. Just cut down on the marketing, increase the effort. The deals are gonna come. So I think that's super common. You left off on Ernie gave you the book. You started reading it. You felt like you were meant for more, and I think you're about to get into
My shiny object syndrome. I remember that's what
that.
I'm reading off.
And I think you're gonna start off talking about real estate. I'm assuming.
Yeah, because that's when I was focusing at the time. I was into entrepreneurship, but nothing like I am now. The only thing I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur and I'm just gonna be a real estate agent, and like that was like the main goal. That was the main focus. And then, I got my license when I was like 19, and I'm about to be 20 right now, so I've had it for about a year. Um, and when I got it, I was going good. I was in the office. I was like talking to other agents, learning from other agents. I was like shadowing other agents on their days. I sat open houses for agents, and then in like November-ish, I got another job, like an actual job, working at UPS. And I've noticed when I get jobs, I really get sidetracked and I get distracted from what I'm supposed to be doing, because when I got the job, which is just a lack of discipline on my part, when I got the job, everything within the real estate side got put on hold, even though I was only working 4 to 5 hours a day. So, and then as I transitioned out of that, because I got fired because of COVID, well, even before that, even like right out of high school, I was going to do wholesaling with him when I was focusing on getting my license, but then.
He means real estate investing / wholesaling.
Yeah.
For you guys that don't understand.
Yeah. Because that, I don't want to say wholesale distracted me from the agent, because at the time I didn't even have my license, but that wholesale was like a shiny object, same as.
I would say that it did, because the reason, so you guys heard me say that I went through the whole year not only working for the digital marketing agency, but thinking, okay, after I learn these skills, I'm going to start my own. Lucas started telling me about real estate, and then I don't know how the conversation turned into investing and wholesaling. But we were like, hey, let's do this together. And that's how I went through the rabbit hole of learning as much as I could about real estate investing / wholesaling, flipping, getting rentals, blah, blah, blah. And then I remember, dude, I remember you weren't as productive when we agreed on it. You weren't as productive as I was. And I was like, he's not, I was like, he's not into it. And then I remember you saying, oh, my plan is just to like I think you said,
I thought it was going to be easy money, basically.
Like, yeah, you're like, let's make $1 million in like a year, and then I'm going to go back to being an agent. And I was like, you
which
can't
obviously
put
isn't realistic.
you can't put a timeline. Yeah, being a real estate agent, you can't put a timeline on your success. Like you just, that's not the right way to attract this stuff. It's not the right way to attract your goals. And so I was like, yeah, bro, go back to doing your thing. I was like, I think I got it from here, G. And yeah, and then so you went back.
Yeah,
so you had that shiny object syndrome. You went
back.
I
went back to being a real estate agent. Then had the UPS job, fell off. And then once I got fired again, I picked up my real estate agent stuff again, and I started like shadowing again. I started cold calling, which I hated. I was like, I actually got onto like a list of agents that one of the super successful agents that was in the office had me on his list of people that he would like hit up if he ever needed a like open house or something like that. So I was doing that for like a couple months and didn't really see anything happening, which was probably normal because it's only been a couple months. But I also kind of started not necessarily liking the whole real estate agent, like, I don't know, day in the life, I guess you could say. This is when I really started realizing that I didn't like sales as much as I had thought I was going to like it. So that made it a lot easier for me to slack off in what I was doing. And then once everything got put on lockdown, that's when I started to learning how to day trade, which kind of like brings me to the end of my story. But this time, like, I got into it, and I didn't put like some sort of pressure on myself to like have X amount of money by this time, or I'm going to do this in this many years or anything like that.
Like you did with the agent stuff?
Yeah, like I did with literally everything else.
It,
yeah, like I put so much pressure on myself, and then that made my mind race like 1,000,000 miles per hour every fucking day, and it just like felt like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders for no reason. So I still don't have any like crazy pressure that I've put on myself, but I told myself, if I'm going to do this, like, even if it's not something I like, I'm going to go through with it and actually give it a real effort, basically, because there's so many on all the other things I didn't really give it a real effort and just put all this pressure on myself and wanted to see results fast, which isn't realistic. So yeah, that brings me kind of to today, where I haven't made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of the money that I did make. And I'm just trying to learn this skill to have as an income producing like asset, kind of, you know.
You did make 1,000 in your first 3 days though.
Cause I'm a real ass boss, motherfucking player.
Oh,
G.
My bad, G. I'm just a real ass boss.
Yeah, and then I fucking lost it all.
Well, that's the game.
So that brings like to the end of my story. Right now I'm day trading, and I'm gonna stick with it. I'm not giving myself. Another thing that I realized I did wrong is like, okay, if I do this agent for X amount of time and it don't work out, then I'll just go do this, or I'll just go do this. I always gave myself an out if it didn't go the way I thought. This time I'm not. I didn't give myself an out. Like, this is what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm just
We
focusing on this.
This is something that we did not speak about before the episode. I don't think we ever spoke about this together.
Mm-hmm.
But something common that in both of our stories was that we were both the least productive when we set a date and we set an exact time for something to happen.
Success, yeah.
Something to happen that was kind of out of our control, right?
Yeah.
And when that didn't happen, it killed our confidence and we didn't get it. So that's pretty contradicting in like the social media and like success space. People say, set a goal, set a date, and, set the action plan and go get that before that date. Other people say, when I say other people, a perfect example who I do not mind shouting out because this man is the shit. David Meltzer, he says, basically just he's very big on meditation, law of attraction, things like that. So the way to attract something is to, just put it out into the universe, put out everything you need to do into the universe, all of not only the action but the attitude as well, and do not put a time frame on it and let it come to you. I'm not sure if he doesn't say put a date on it, but I know he says don't focus on the when. He says just like focus on the what. And when we were doing that hindered us a lot because it destroyed our confidence. Even though there were times when my productivity fell, and if my productivity did not fall, maybe I could have hit that mark. But even times when that didn't happen, when I was just going balls to the wall and it didn't happen for me, I remember it just killed my confidence, and it probably destroyed my attitude and my energy too. And that's probably why that never came. Rather than if I did not focus on that date and I just kept doing it, and it probably would have came quicker than anything. Probably would have came quicker than the actual date I set for it.
Probably.
Did you notice that too?
Yeah,
Or when
I've
in your own
that.
life?
I feel like
Good?
setting that date like added to the pressure that I already had on
That
myself
too,
to make.
yeah.
Because obviously, as we talked on earlier in our stories, both of us don't come from anything. So I don't know about you, or I do know about you. We both feel the pressure to put on ourselves to be the first one in our family to like actually create generational wealth, like help our parents,
Yeah.
like retire our parents, get our parents all the stuff that they deserve, like their dream house, dream cars, all of that type of stuff. And having all that pressure on top of having to have it by a certain date, which wasn't even a realistic date to begin with.
Right, and it's pressure because when you're living with a family like that, and most people doing this can relate,
Mm-hmm.
they see it as more of a risk than kind of going through like the 9 to 5 thing. Going to school and then going to, let's call that the American dream.
The safe. Damn, voice crack. I'm 20 years old, voice crack. The safe way, the traditional way that they know about, go to college, get good grades.
They see that as so much of they see doing the opposite as so much of a risk, or I think that alone makes me feel pressure.
Yeah.
Especially because my dad works so hard. I feel the pressure from just imagining the way he feels. And my parents aren't like crazy on me because they see how hard I work and how much I work. Like they did not see that. I don't think they saw that they definitely did not see that in my brother when he was my age or younger. Now he has his own thing going, but when he was my age, or probably when they were my age as well,
them boys got up out the hood.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they didn't. My work ethic is kind of what keeps them relaxed. That I actually do have a work ethic, and I'm not just chilling, being a villain.
Yeah.
Kicking it, being a real ass pimp.
That's the same thing like with my mom. She sees like even through the times where I lapse and I'm not relapse, like I'm on drugs. When I have a lapse in discipline and I'm not working towards really anything, because there's definitely been times where I'm doing
You're
that.
like, oh, did ask you my bad.
She's always told me that like in terms of like getting a career that I like or being successful, like that's one thing she's never worried about me for. Like, she's worried about me in school. She's worried about the people that I've hung around with, the stuff that I've done. But in terms of being successful, that's one thing she's never worried about. So that's something that, like, kind of reinforced my confidence.
Yeah, that's another thing that we have in common. That was, for me, that was my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
My grandma was like, dude, I would like sing to her, and dude, I'm not even gonna do it on the podcast.
bust it
That
out.
shit was bad.
Let's hear the vocals.
Awful, bro.
That's funny.
103.
102. Now that's funny
Those
that you
kind of
say that
vocals.
because
And she would hear me, bro, and she'd be like, wow, like, bro, I'm so serious with you. She's like, wow, it's really good. While she was watching
do
TV.
you like it?
And I was like, really? And then I was always drawing, and she would put those drawings all over the walls, like herself, and she would have like a whole book of my drawings that she would like put together as if she was like so proud of them. And so that gave me the confidence, not only that I was good at these things, but that I was good at like anything that I would do. For some people, I hear that's really bad. And maybe it was bad for us. Maybe that's why we had such bad, we had like those drops. And you know what? I don't know. Some people say that that's bad because then you believe that you could be good without any work.
Yeah.
But for me, whenever I would really like something, I became like, I would always like work at it. So I don't think that was ever a problem for me personally. Yeah. But I did always have that. And then from my parents, I think from my grandma, I got more like blind positivity, which was good for me. Like literally anything I did, she's like, wow, that's great. And then with my parents, I mostly got the positivity when the actual rewards came to fruition. Like if I got great grades, and then the teachers would tell my parents, oh, he's an amazing kid. Because I always had great relationships with my teachers. Always. The teachers would be like, wow, like you have, like, they would just always basically say really great things about me. And then my parents would obviously give me that positive reinforcement then when they saw the results. But my grandma gave it to me.
Sorry, I keep thinking about your grandpa saying, do you like it?
Yeah, dude, I was just always laughing at that. Like, he was just staring at my mom, and then he was like, you like it? She's like, yes, dog. It's my son, homie. Now, let me get the other one. Oh, let me see that one. Yeah,
let me gift receipt.
Let me cop that one, G.
Oh my god, that's fucking hilarious. I'm gonna have to say that when my sister has a kid and be like, you like it?
You like it? You like it or not?
That's fucking funny.
¿Te gusta?
All right, you were saying?
I actually cut you off. I was saying that I was talking about like that blind positivity that I got and how it was pretty helpful for me and my confidence.
Yeah. That's the exact same way my grandma was.
Uh-huh. So what are your goals now? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
$10 trillion in 35 minutes.
What about in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 5 years with what you're doing now?
5 years. I haven't even thought that far. Obviously, I have like a general idea. Like I want to be able to do what I'm doing full time without having to have like a part-time job and living on my own. But as far as like a set number, I've tried not to put that pressure on myself, you know? Like I don't want to be like in 5 years.
Yeah, we just talked about that shit. What am I saying?
Yeah. I just have like a general idea of like a certain type of life I want to live. I want to get the fuck up out of California. I want to move to Vegas so I could work at a strip club. Nah. I want to move out of California, Texas or Vegas. I want to have like a decent house, a decent car. If not, like a very nice house and a very nice car. But
how much do you see yourself making though?
In terms of dollar figure, definitely multiple six figures. With like just day trading.
How much money do you want to make in your lifetime?
Shit, I haven't thought about that. Billions. 181 billion, so I could be 1 billion richer than Jeff Bezos.
Oh, well, by the time.
And then I could be the one on Twitter that everyone's like, eat him, cancel him.
Eat him?
He's too fucking rich. They say that all the time. They're like, eat the rich. Why does he have that much money? He doesn't need it.
Oh my god.
He could cure the world of everything.
Oh yeah, because this has 100.
Like he has 180 billion in his pocket liquid right now.
Yeah.
Just pulls it out his stack.
Not only is it liquid, but it's in his back pocket, guys. Go find him. Find him and let me know. Let me
Go
know
rob
how it
him
goes.
and.
Yeah, same here. It's so funny I brought up the date again, but that there you go. Like subconsciously, we have these little things in our mind that put pressure on ourselves. That if they weren't there, we'd probably have this freedom that would allow us to perform at our best. But yeah, in 5 years, I see myself. And I think in 5 years, I think I could be 7 figures or close to that at least.
Yeah, same. When I say multiple six figures, I mean like high six figures.
Yeah, close to 7. And I think, yeah, in my lifetime, the goal is billions.
Also see our podcast with 1 million subscribers on YouTube.
Oh yeah, and to exponentially grow this brand.
I see myself being 6'5".
What do you see your legacy as being for the world?
Oh shit.
With your life, with your family, with what you've done, with your money.
In terms of the world, I haven't really put much thought into that. I definitely, well, within my own family, I want to be the first person to get us out of the rat race, I guess you could say.
Go to the NBA.
Yeah, be the first Mexican in the NBA.
They're gonna interview you for the post game, and then you're gonna be like, "You like it?
You like it? Drop 100 points. You like it?
Yeah."
What do you see your legacy as being? Maybe you could motivate me to start thinking about my legacy more.
Oh yeah, dude, it's something you should think about every day. My legacy, I think naturally, what has always made me happy is I've always been that friend in the group where I talk to my friends and like, wow, you give great advice. A lot of people could relate to this. I used to think this
Do we
made
have
me
the same like
well,
fucking
well,
upbringing?
dude, well, listen. I used to think that made me special, but a lot of people say that they're this person.
Yeah.
But I hear a lot of people say it where I'm like, if you gave me advice, I'd probably want to stop talking to you. So a lot of people think they're this. A lot of people think they're this person in the group. But I remember specifically telling, like not telling, but like saying, kind of just being straight up with these people, with my friends, and not only them just being like, wow, that was really helpful, but them actually making a change. And that always made me feel great. Having great relationship with my teachers when I knew other people treated them terribly, that made me feel great.
That's actually, even though I was like a shitty student in all my classes, I'd like always had great relationship with my teachers.
Yeah. And just being positive. I was always, aside from that, I was always known for being the positive person. Like, oh, Bailey's always smiling, blah, blah. Bailey, I got best smile in high school, baby. You know what I'm saying? Geez, that was when you were a real ass pant player.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
In Pioneer?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I wasn't there. Why are you yelling at me?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. My bad, G. Let me apologize for you there, Rock.
I dropped out.
Player.
101. I had best voice in high school.
But anyway, so I think when I look back at that, whenever, and I know this because sometimes when I'm kind of losing that motivation, or when you're just in that slump, something I do is I stay home on a Friday and Saturday night if I have to. Most of the time I do stay home. I'm making it sound like I go out a lot, but
I'm always staying home too.
I just sit in my room. I put my phone away. I light a candle and I sit down with my journal and I put something at the top of my page that will help me. Like I either put, what is your why? I thought this was my notebook, but the last time I put,
I gave you one of those, no?
Yeah, but I thought it was my one from home. The last time I did this, I actually cried. I put, what are your most painful mistakes? And that's just an example, and all of those mistakes made me wake up like stupid, just like angry the next day. And I think anger is a very, it's a very not talked about topic, very underrated topic as a form of motivation. Bro, when I'm angry, I will like crush a workout and 1,000 business calls in like 30 minutes.
You're doing push-ups out of breath?
Yeah, I'll be doing push-ups while I'm on
rope
the phone.
right now? In the background, just hears.
Okay, just take my property, sir. But oh yeah, so so I do that a lot. I journal a lot. I think it's super important. A lot of people talk about how that's the best way to understand yourself. So so having those things being said, I really enjoy leaving things better than the way that they were before I came in contact with them. Whether it's people, I kind of have that in the back of my mind. How can I leave this better. If I see trash on the floor and I'm somewhere in public, I'm the type of person to walk to it, pick it up, and throw it away, even if it's not mine. If I swear, if I'm in public and I see someone straight up throw like a piece of trash on the floor, I will walk up to that piece of trash and throw it away like right in front of them. And I don't care if they give me a dirty look or not. I just know it's the right thing to do. Not to say that I've always done the right thing. I've made a ton of mistakes, stupid mistakes, selfish mistakes. And those hurt the most, especially because now that I'm starting to understand who I am, I feel the best when I'm doing the right thing. And I think most people do. I think they just don't, because most people don't know that. So my legacy is, I want that to be my legacy, but at the biggest fucking scale possible. I want to leave my family a better place. I want to leave my kids better than the way I was, and I grew up flawless in my opinion. I would have nothing to complain about. I want to leave the world a better place. I want to leave the poverty situation in the world a better place, the homelessness in the world a better place, the way we treat animals a better place, the way how many dogs or cats or whatever are without shelter, or everything, dude. Especially like the health of the planet. I think it's just because I love nature so much. Dude, I would hate to see any animal like go extinct. Imagine your kid like asking you, "Wow, you saw a lion or something like that." That would make me, oh my, I just feel nasty just thinking about that. Or
my kid asked me that, I'd be like, "No, I live in California, dumbass." Imagine.
Or like, "Dad, what does a lion look like?" And he says, "We're like, all right, turn around, son. All right, turn back around. Look at me. That's a lion."
I didn't see anything. Neither have I.
But that's what I want my legacy to be. Not so much fame, although being honest, knowing myself, I probably wouldn't mind that, but not to the point where like everybody like tries to cancel you and stuff. I really would not care about that stuff, because that's not where my motivations lie. My motivations lie on actually leaving the world visibly a better place. Like, you could visibly see that there's less of these things that hurt the planet or hurt the human race or hurt the life on this planet, or even the planet's actual life, like the trees, nature, water. That's why I want all that money. I want all of that to be better. And I don't know if I'd leave a lot of that money to my family. From what I've read, I don't know if I'd leave at all anything. Because I would want my.
Isn't Bill Gates? Didn't he say he's doing that or something?
That he's not. Like a lot of successful people say that they're not leaving. Warren. I think you might be thinking of Warren Buffett, because I know for a fact, Warren Buffett. Well, first of all, he gives away a huge amount of his wealth, but I'm pretty sure he said like, "Oh no, I'm not giving them." I think he's not giving them a penny, if I'm not mistaken. But, I mean, I think that's a good way to go, because could you imagine how different you'd be if you didn't have to struggle for anything financially? I don't think I'd be the same person.
I don't even know. I've never even thought of that, because I don't know. That's just so far. I don't know. But in terms of leaving the world a better place, that is interesting, and that is something like that I've thought about too. Like what Akon's doing. Have you seen his Akon city that he wants to develop in Africa?
Great example.
I feel like doing stuff like that would be fucking dope.
I'm so great you brought that up. In high school, when Ernie showed me the book, that was my biggest passion. That's actually the reason why I thought maybe I should stay in school, because another one of my biggest passions is, now that I grow older, I realize that a lot of people that are in their situations, obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm pretty sure you've heard this before. We're responsible for everything that happens to us, or at least if you live by that mindset, you'll probably be more happier. A lot of the reason why a lot of people are in these shitty ass situations are because of their own decisions, and of course they made these decisions because of their shitty ass mindset. And I think that's the biggest plague that has ever hit the human race. Limited mindset, no responsibility type mindset, just poor me mindset. I think school would be the perfect freaking place to teach kids to not be that way, to be more open-minded, to be more confident, and to work on their strengths. So one of my biggest passions in high school was I want to affect the school system. I want
told me about that.
Yeah, I want to, and that was the reason why I was like, well, how would they listen to someone that didn't go through college affect the school system? But um, I think with enough money you could do anything.
Yeah.
And I was always great in school. Like I loved school. Like I loved being around my friends. I loved being in sports. I loved being around the teachers. Sometimes I would spend like my free time with the teachers because I had such, in my opinion, I had great teachers. And I sometimes I miss them. Even like this many years out of high school, I still sometimes I'm like, oh man, I wonder how he's doing. I want to send him an email, see how he's doing.
Shout out to Mr. C.
Mr. C was one of them.
Mr.
C was an awesome teacher. Mr. C, Mr. Moore, Miss Gadget.
Mr. Moore was dope.
Oh, you had Mr. Moore too?
Freshman
Dude,
year.
he almost made me cry. The last time I saw him, this fool had the audacity to look at me, and he was like, well, I guess this is the last time we're ever going to see each other, Mr. Bailey. And I was like, fool, you want me to cry? I swear, bro. I'd like almost cried in his classroom. And then, because before that, I did cry in his classroom, and he was like, oh, what's wrong? And then I was like, it was his last day. I was like, because you're leaving. But
He used to call me the Rain Man. I forgot what movie it was from, but
because you don't watch movies,
I
dog.
watched them all.
We both know you don't forget. You
I
just
watched
never
them
seen
all.
the movie. But yeah. Anyway, I
No,
love my teachers.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's another example. I want to leave even the school system a better place, and it's not just so much the school system; it's people's minds a better place, and that's something that we're accomplishing through this podcast alone. Through the people that do tune into this podcast, they're gonna go straight up from little wieners to real ass
Big
pimps.
wieners.
Big wieners. Sorry.
Yeah, school something's definitely something I'd want to affect also.
Oh yeah. I've lived through too many years of kids going through school and looking at it as a chore, when it should be like it should be like some of the best times of your life. Like you're realizing what you're capable of, what's possible, your strengths.
But it's nothing like that.
And
It's all
you have the opportunity to not only realize those stuff, but be grouped in with kids who are also like you and have the same strengths and have the same goals. Oh my God! Imagine how different that place would be. That'd be like Disneyland for people with that kind of mindset, or everybody that could be exposed to the fact that school can be that way, instead of just focusing around things that they're not good at or things that aren't fun.
Yep.
However, there is another side to that I actually reminded me when you brought up that I didn't like. You said I didn't like cold calling. There are some things that we have to do that we don't like.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like when I started cold calling, I don't know anybody that starts cold calling and they're like, this is the best. Like every fifth call, it's someone saying,
Fuck
I
you.
hope your mother
You're gonna
hangs
murder
herself,
your
bro.
family.
Yeah, exactly. Be fired up.
I will find you.
Yeah.
And I will kill you.
So it's not all find what you love to do and then do what you love. I think a part of it has to be falling in love with the process, the goods and the bads, and being in love with the results. That's something that Russ actually talks about. Be in love with the results so much that you will happily go through the things that you don't like, even being aware that you don't like them.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali said that too. He
Oh,
talked about how
Muhammad
he
Ali hated
every
training.
fucking day of training.
Right. That's I think Mike Tyson said that too. That's a perfect example. Muhammad Ali hated training. I think Michael Jordan said that too, because I remember I read Tim Grover's book. Michael Jordan would, and I'm pretty sure I'm not too far off, because at the end of Michael Jordan's career, he said he looked at Tim Grover and he said, if I ever see you again, I'm gonna beat your ass. Which then Tim Grover's his trainer. So you don't have to fall in love with the process. If you come across something that's hard, that's not an indicator that you shouldn't be doing it. If anything, that's an indicator that not a lot of people are doing it. So that's an amazing opportunity for you to figure out how can you get yourself to do that, so that you can be on the road of accomplishing the thing that 99% of people just don't have the balls to do. And that's how you get to achieve the things that the 1% of people
Achieve.
achieve. Want to wrap it up?
Yeah, ready?
All right,
One,
you get the wrapping
2,
paper.
3, 4. I was gonna start rapping.
Oh, go for it.
We need an outro.
We do need an outro. You want to handle the outro since I handled the intro?
Sh-
All right, go
that's
off
a
the
lot of
dome.
pressure.
Off
All
the
right,
dome,
guys,
Lucas,
we'll
go off
see.
the dome.
We'll see you in the next episode of we'll let you do it while you do it, and we'll see what it does while you're doing it.
That was cool.
All right, guys, we'll see you in the next episode.
All right, guys, thanks for lifting.
Bro, I'm telling you, that should be our episode.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not gonna get it because that was in the first episode.
All right, guys, in the first episode, I said I meant
This
to
is
say
hold on. This is actually our second time shooting this episode.
His
The
fault.
audio got corrupted, the video got corrupted, but the
Yeah,
first time
it got
we ended
corrupted. Like it became the president, and this fool like had all the power, and this fool was like, "Yo, I'm powerful," and this fool started using the power for
it became Kim
corrupted
Jong
reasons.
Un. But basically, at the end of the video, he said, "All right, guys, thanks for lifting."
I meant to say thanks for listening.
And we think it's a lot funnier than you probably will. It's not funny explaining
I
it
meant
at
to
all.
say thanks for listening, guys. And I was like, all right, guys, thanks for lifting. And then we started dying. You guys probably never gonna get to
Explaining
see
it,
that.
it's not as funny.
Yeah, well, I think it was funny, but now
you just
that
had
it's
to be
this
there.
long. All right, guys, thanks for lifting.